task is to write a letter referring Mrs. Wood, who is diagnosed with a lump in her right breast, to Dr. Elizabeth Smith regarding the patient's breast lump assessment and management, and show empathy to the patient's concern because the patient is not voluntarily presenting herself but is forced by her daughter, Miss Jenny. Let us look into the case note first. This is a simple and very straightforward case note. The name and age of the patient is important and should be mentioned in the reference part of the letter. Most of the information provided in this case note are relevant and should be mentioned in the letter. In assessment, management and concerns of the patient, there is rarely any information in this case note to omit. You can avoid using the numericals in the letter as it is irrelevant and doesn't affect the service provided. Here, along with her physical condition and explanation regarding her breast lump, you have to emphasize the mental condition of the patient. That is, in the case note it says, the patient is very afraid, so to move forward with her treatment, the doctor has to build trust with her. Otherwise, she won't continue with the treatment. This is a very important point and should emphasize while framing the letter. Taking all these points, we have to prepare a letter in an organized manner. Now, let's see how we can write a letter with the help of a sample letter written by a candidate from India. The date, address and salutation written are correct. In the reference, we don't have to write aged 59. Instead, you can simply say 59 years. Moving to the introduction paragraph, I am writing on behalf of Miss Jenny, daughter of Mrs. Wood, who has suspecting a breast cancer. She requires assessment and management from your service, which is not that impressive because the first sentence itself says, I am writing on behalf of Miss Jenny, which is not supposed to be. Here we are writing to request a breast lump assessment and management for Mrs. Wood, which is the important part and should put this information at first of the introduction. Even though the first sentence written by the candidate is true, this piece of information can be explained in the following paragraph. Taking these points, we can rewrite the introduction in a much impressive manner like, I am writing to request assessment and management for Mrs. Wood, who has an unidentified lesion in her right breast. Moving to the second paragraph, Mrs. Wood presented to the clinic with increasing size of lump in right breast since 6 months. She has been taking medication for lump 3 months ago. On examination, it is noticed with a 5 cm hard painless lump along with bloody discharge. However, she is physically fit and active. Here, the first sentence written is wrong and instead you should reframe it in such a way that Mrs. Wood was presented by her daughter with a 6-month history of breast lump which is increasing in size. Similarly, third sentence can be rewritten as, on examination, a breast lump is 5 cm in diameter which is painless, hard and fixed with bloody discharge from nipple, which is much better. Coming to the last sentence, we can see that it is related to her background, therefore it is better to place it in the following paragraph. Moving to the third paragraph, during assessment, Mrs. Wood was started her concern about unidentified lesion in right breast and refused to see a doctor. She is worried about mammogram, radiotherapy and chemotherapy. Presently, she is agreed to consult a female doctor and review her blood pressure in 3 months. Here, the first 2 sentences should be connected like, during assessment, Mrs. Wood was started a concern about unidentified lesion in right breast and refused to see a doctor because she is worried about mammogram, radiotherapy and chemotherapy. Coming to the last sentence, you have to say that after long discussion, she has agreed to consult a female doctor and review her blood pressure in 3 months as she is hypertensive patient. Moving to the last paragraph, it would be greatly appreciated if you could evaluate his condition as you feel appropriate. Please advise her for possible treatment options including both pharmaceutical and non-pharmaceutical treatment. In addition, please show her empathy to build her trust on doctors. Here we can see a gender change in the first sentence saying evaluate his condition, which is a great mistake. This paragraph also doesn't say about her physical status, that is, she is a menopause woman. So you have to frame the sentence in such a way that Mrs. Wood is physically fit and active who attained menopause and should be placed at first. The second sentence can be reorganized like she requires information about treatment options including pharmaceutical and non-pharmaceutical options. Coming to the last sentence, it says, in addition, which can be avoided. You can simply say, please show her empathy to build her trust on doctors. Therefore, after making these changes, the paragraph now reads, Mrs. Wood is physically fit and active who attained menopause. She requires information about treatment options, including pharmaceutical and non-pharmaceutical. Please show her empathy to build her trust on doctors. Coming to the wind-up sentence, you have to mention the name of the patient along with the sentence. Then it becomes, please do not hesitate to contact me with any queries regarding Mrs. Wood. The sign of written is correct. Considering all these points, this letter merits for a score of 300. Thank you.
New method for OET learning. How are you preparing? Online or offline? For speaking and writing, you can get tutor reviews. How will you be able to manage your reading and listening? How can you manage your self-practice easier than never before? Learn OET in Merlin's way. Most successful OET learning method from world's best online trainer. Chat now. mentormerlinexam.com